Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 313.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two
two
crazy
crazy ketos.
It is nasty outside.
It is very stormy, and no, you didn't miss the little song intro. We just decided to take out the usual culprit.
Well, first of all, I need to redo that. That is like the old logo. I have not fixed that in 7 years.
It's a good incentive.
It's just not something that I've even thought about until today. But Chris said it's been like there's something going on in the background of it, which makes no sense because it's an uploaded video that just sits in Restream.
Right.
But I figured I'll worry about it later. But let me know if this sound is good because we've had a couple of problems with static.
Yeah.
In the past. But also sounds good this morning. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to let you guys know if you're watching this now or in the future, if you ever click on one of our live streams, like where you don't watch it live, and something is wrong with the audio at the beginning, just fast forward a couple of seconds. We usually figure it out and fix it. And if we have it, then we would delete that live stream.
The whole thing would be
But
changed
like last week, we had the problem with the static for like the first 20 seconds. And I saw a lot of comments like, oh, I couldn't watch the static. We fix it. Sometimes I forget to go and edit that section out. But just give us a little bit of grace. If you ever click on a live stream that you're not watching when it's live, and just go back and fast forward a few seconds, and it's usually gonna be resolved.
But it's so funny. So we talk about this all the time.
I'm sick today.
About how stress can frustrate you, but sometimes there's like an easier fix than we're letting on to.
Right.
And so I told Joe this morning, because he was like, I hope we don't have problems this morning. I hope that, we don't have frustration. And I said, you know what? I think it's with the little opening thing. Why don't we just eliminate it and then we just don't have to worry about it? I know it'll be different, but let's just kick the problem to the curb. And I think about that when we talk to coaching clients a lot, when they'll tell me that they're struggling with a really like a one particular thing.
Right.
They're really struggling with it being in their midst. And so the thought of like, I don't know if I can get rid of it, but if you will do that hard work to say, you know what, I am just not bringing it into my realm. I'm just not having it today. Then it's amazing.
Right. So welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you're new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We do this every Monday at 10 a.m. and we like to celebrate our subscribers, find comments off of our social media for the last week, and also, we love to highlight success stories. So we ask you, please do us a favor. Head over to our Mighty Networks group, to our Facebook group. Mighty Networks is members.twocrazyketos.com. It's completely free. You can choose to support us financially there with a $5, $10, or $25 membership. But the main part is free. Leave your story, a short little story with some pictures before and after. It also doesn't have to be a weight loss thing. It could be that, like, hey, I'm off of my diabetes medication. I haven't eaten sugar for the last week. But we love to celebrate that stuff. Now, if you're new here, when we do this live, what we like to do is we go over all of the comments that we have the show that we put together. And we don't really pay too much attention to the chat until like the last 10 or 15 minutes. So if you have a question, hold off till then or use the super chat function, kind of like Dustin did this morning.
Thanks so much, Dustin.
That's a little $sign down below. And Dustin actually started off the stream with a super chat. Thank you so much, Dustin. It does support the channel. Thanks for the $5. Said Sandra and I are looking forward to April 1st in Elkhart. It's going to be a wonderful time.
I'm looking forward.
We will be heading up to Elkhart, Indiana. We're leaving here, I think on the 28th. We're going to drive through. It'll take me 2 days to drive. We've got to pick up our brand new Alliance Avenue 30BH. We're upgrading our RV. And this one is going up for sale.
Yeah.
So if you know anybody who is interested in buying a highly upgraded, very well cared for Alliance RV, this is the Alliance 294RK. And listen, here's the thing, that it's been very well cared for. And because we're brand ambassadors, any little issues they have fixed under warranties and everything else. And there really haven't been anything, but we have a lot of upgrades on this.
Yeah.
Including now, my batteries are not staying. but the entire inverter system is staying, like all the solar panels. So literally whoever buys this, all they have to do is get some good lithium iron phosphate batteries, stick them in there, and they
Good
can
to
literally
go.
run their air conditioners and everything without ever plugging in. As a matter of fact, I've been unplugging for, like, to charge our Tesla because I only have one plug, and it's great. We have run both ACs all day long on just batteries and solar.
In Florida.
We also have in here, I'm going to give you guys a little secret. We have a prototype independent suspension system on here. Not available to anybody else right now. It is from Moride. And this is a suspension system that costs like $10,000 to add onto an RV. Completely protects the RV, stops all the bouncing around and everything. And we got to prototype it. They basically built it for our unit. And so whoever buys this is going to have a one-of-a-kind independent suspension system.
It's crazy.
But we'll be up there, and we're doing a meetup with Dustin and Sandra.
Yay.
And with... Keto Chow, with the folks from Keto Chow, because they're making up their brand new paradigm at the same time. So really looking forward to that. First taste.
First taste.
First taste.
Ugh, that is all you.
Grape slush Celsius. Wait a minute. No, you've got to try this. Don't put that in your mouth.
I'm just telling you, I instead chose to have true endurance from Performance Games this morning. I feel like I'm definitely the winner in this.
No.
Oh. No.
That is, do you like grape?
No.
Grape is the most awesome flavor.
Well,
Chris Bear, we need a grape salty.
No, we
I'll
don't.
help you develop the flavor.
No, we don't need that.
We really need a grape salty. Somebody actually put a comment. You got lipstick on my hand. Somebody put a comment on my can.
Oh.
Somebody put a comment. Like, I ordered this off of Amazon. And so it was like full price, like almost $3 a can. But somebody put a thing that we have to find a Speedway. Speedway's got this flavor, buy one, get one free.
If you said if you said free one, get one free, I wouldn't take it.
Town.
Free one, get one free wouldn't get me to get it.
So, okay, let's jump right into Keto Beyond the Couch. I'll just make sure I didn't miss anything. No, perfect. Okay, we're going to start off with this post from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Life lessons from a sea turtle. Sometimes you have to dig yourself out of a hole you didn't dig.
Amen.
Make time for the beach.
Uh-huh.
Slow down. Come out of your shell.
Aww.
Age gracefully. Life is better with a good friend. Enjoy the views and travel far.
I love that. You know what I wasn't expecting to really resonate with me is age gracefully.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you think about sea turtles, and a lot of times we will celebrate. I've seen, before where people say this sea turtle's 100 years old, it lives a long time, and it does age gracefully. It is okay to get older. That is a blessing in life. I think sometimes we're angry about it.
Right.
We don't want to celebrate birthdays anymore because we don't want to admit we're getting older, but this is a blessing to be able to age and grow in wisdom. We've learned some things.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we're, I'm heading to my 50s. You're in your 50s.
Yes.
And boy, haven't we learned something in this last 10 years.
A few things. And it's funny. I'm so grateful that Sarah moved to Arcadia.
Me too.
It's so nice having a friend in town.
And Alan.
And Alan, obviously. But it's just nice to have someone who is like-minded, and we get to be friends with her, and she lives close, and she comes by and brought me some pumpkin sausage soup.
Hello, Keto Chow. We were craving it so badly, and then she's like, you know what? I'm making a batch, and that's a true friend that shares that recipe, because I'm telling you, when you make it, you taste it, you don't want to share it.
Yeah. I have to, I don't know why, the post brought something up though.
Okay.
I have to bring up the article I read, and we actually are going to be talking about it in a vlog. Shame on CNN.
Shame on you, CNN.
This makes me not ever want to turn on the media, because I know that there is a political reason behind this article, but CNN came out with this story the other day, basically because RFK is talking about, he's actually make America fry with tallow again or something like that. Mm-hmm. But because he's talking about the dangers of seed oils.
Yeah.
all of a sudden all this propaganda is coming up, and CNN put up this entire article that was disgusting, basically talking about that we need to stop eating butter and stop eating beef tallow, and that just reducing your butter consumption a little bit and switching to seed, and they specifically even
Seed
talk about
oils.
seed oils versus plant oils.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because like avocado oil is a plant oil, and how they make seed oils, and that if you were to reduce your butter consumption by just a little bit and replace it with a seed oil, and they specifically say canola or soybean oil, you will reduce your risk of death by 17%, according to this article.
Like,
and then
so
when
upsetting.
you research the article, they say this is the study, that this is a good study because it was backed by the federal government. Now, again, we're going to talk about this in a vlog, but this was an observational study.
Observational is very important to note.
So it was basically people had to self-report what they were eating. So let's be honest.
Right.
Are you going to tell them everything you do?
Every single thing you do. If someone is, I mean, if you go to the doctor and the doctor says, like, how much exercise have you been consistently doing, and you know that you could do better in that area.
We don't, listen.
I think that people, like, talk a good game about it.
Listen.
Like, you're not going to be completely honest and say, like, you know, I don't know.
Nobody is honest.
I don't think you're going to...
Men lie, women lie.
Right.
End of discussion.
Yes.
Okay? And we are never going to be completely truthful in anything that we do, let alone in a study where you have to report everything.
About your health.
For example, are you going to tell them that you had a drink if you were an alcohol, if you had a glass of alcohol?
Yeah.
Are you going to tell them every time you went to the bathroom?
Do you even remember?
What if it's something that you don't want everybody to know? Are you going to tell them? Let's say that you live in a state where marijuana is legal and you decide to indulge in it. Are you going to put that in the study? Because maybe you don't want people to know that. So no, you're not going to tell them that stuff. Well, that would all affect this stuff.
Well, I'm going to come from like an optimistic perspective, Joe, and say that people don't even remember. Can you tell me in a detailed way every single thing that you ate on a Monday 3 months ago? And I also don't think that even people knowing that they're going to participate in the study are going to catch every single thing if they're tracking it and logging it for the study. I think that people, even if you are personally tracking your macros, like how many times do you still guess in a ballpark when you go out to eat because you don't know what brand of hot dog that they're serving or
Right.
what exactly is every single component of the salad that you're eating. I think that even in the best case scenario, things, you know, if it's not in a controlled study, if it's not something that is got eyes on it all the time, I think that there's room for error. And then
a lot of room.
And you're telling people, I mean, I think there's so much data that has been provided about how seed oils are even produced, like, you know, what you are opening yourself up to as far as carcinogens, you know, the rancidness of it.
Because
like,
they go rancid with heat.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, we're just not truthful. So any observational study to me, you have to throw out the window. I mean, when I sliced up in my hand and I went to the you know, whatchamacallit,
The doctor,
the urgent care, one of the questions on the medical form was, have you ever smoked? Number one, what does that have to do with the fact that I need stitches in my hand?
Right.
And number two, do you think I'm going to tell you that I had a cigarette when I was in, you know, high school?
18 years old?
Like, no, I'm
You're
not
gonna
going, because I don't want that on my record. I don't want it. I mean, I recently saw somebody put a thing in our group, and I don't want to name the person or anything, but they were like excited about the fact that their doctor doesn't want to change their distinction for diabetes because they get more stuff like from the insurance company when you have that label. But see, I don't want that label because I'm looking at how many other things will they use that against me. I think about, like, you want to go get car insurance and they pull your credit because they say that people who have bad credit are horrible drivers.
Life insurance.
So what if we get to a point where you want to go get a mortgage and you have the loan company start looking at your medical records and go, oh, wait a second, you're a diabetic? you're a higher risk, so we're going to charge you more interest. So I don't want anything on my record. So I'm certainly not going to report every single thing I do if I'm in part of an observational study.
I talked to a lady who was wanting to adopt a dog, and they were wanting background medical stuff on her to see if she was like a worthy candidate, or if she had like medical issues. They don't want to adopt the dog to her.
Right.
Because of the fact that like she's a risk.
Okay, let's move on. Next one's from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
A quick brief on me. Obese for as long as I can remember. I had gastric bypass in 2015. My top weight was 504 pounds. I'm currently 257.
Way to go.
Fighting hard. When you see this picture, you're not going to believe that. Fighting hard to get my goal weight of 180, maybe 160 someday. I look forward to learning more from y'all, and I absolutely enjoy y'all's YouTube channel.
Thanks, Sarah.
My husband has said the last few days, do you watch anything else?
Aww.
Just thought I'd share a couple of pics. On the left was my highest before my gastric bypass. On the right is one from a few days ago. Pretty crazy how far God has brought me. So blessed. Have a terrific evening. All off to relax to some more of our crazy ketos.
Wow.
Okay, remember, she said she's 257 pounds.
Oh my gosh, Sarah. Wow. You look absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I'm using your beautiful smile to even know you have changed so much. Like, you look fantastic, and thank you. We do not take it lightly that you are sharing your time with us. Like your husband joking about, are you watching anything else but them crazy ketos? But I am so thankful for the opportunity to share the evening with you, or to share a day with you that you're watching our videos. Thank you for that. We thought that Joe's cough was completely gone, and then it reared
I woke up this morning sick.
I think I'm sick
because the weather's been so weird. It's super hot during the day.
Yeah.
Then I head over to Tampa and Bradenton to work games at night, and it's like
difference.
50 degrees, and I've got to run around in shorts. And then, you know, like, you're wearing a jacket, but then you can't wear the jacket when you're officiating, and then you're freezing, and then you get in the car, and then I've got the heat on, and I think it's just affecting me.
It is weird. We've had even like 40-degree mornings, and then like 89, 90-degree days, and then back to 40 at night.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
It's like the desert. Next one is from Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
I hit a new goal. After going on the 2KK getaway cruise in December, I decided to get even more serious.
Yay!
I was wearing 14W and 16s, XL, and even double XL on the cruise. Today, I'm wearing a size 10.
Yes.
And a medium. I've lost about 16 pounds, not losing muscle. That is a win.
Teresa, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you for coming on the 2KK cruise with us. And what a blessing it is when we have our cruises. Of course, there is no assessment on like, where are you on your keto journey, and how tight and regimented are you in your keto journey. We really are
community.
Just fellowshipping. We are in community, and I feel like Teresa is making the case that community, a loving, friendly, welcoming, accommodating community, can do more for a person than a keto police.
Yep.
Like, if you are trying to set up a community as, you know, keto police stations where you're trying to patrol everybody's life, I don't think that is as beneficial as people think.
Well,
it would
I
be.
Also even see it with Bob. Like, Bob went on the cruise, and he's just like, ever since getting back from the cruise, he's like just killing it because he got inspired. Yes. Good news though, Teresa just signed up to go on the back-to-back both cruises, so super excited.
There's room for you too.
There
if
still
you haven't
is some room.
signed
If you
up.
didn't know, if you're new here, in December we're actually hosting 2 cruises. They're back-to-back, so December 4th through the 8th. And then December 8th through the 13th. Both of them are Freedom of the Seas out of Miami. The first one goes to Labadee. The second one goes to Grand Cayman and Cozumel. You can go on the first one, the second one, or both of them. If you choose to go on both of them, the back-to-back, depending on the cabin category, we might be able to arrange for you to stay in the same cabin.
It's pretty cool.
Which is pretty cool, because after the first one, we go out for 4 days, we come back. They're going to know you're getting back on. You go over to a special room. They hand you your key. You walk off the ship. You have them scan your face at, customs, and then you get to turn around and go right back on. Pretty cool. You even get to go back to your cabin, whereas everybody else can't go to their cabin until 1:30. you get to go to your cabin right away. So
That's
super
neat.
excited about that.
Join us.
Next one is from Jeannie.
Hey, Jeannie.
What is your new channel going to be called? I want to subscribe as soon as it's available.
Thank you.
Good news. So, our new homesteading channel launched yesterday. We launched with 3 videos. I'll be editing videos along with the ones for this channel, and they'll be going up. It's been kind of interesting editing the videos, going back and going,
Wow.
oh my gosh.
Stuff is happening.
I forgot what this house looked like when we bought it. I forgot what this property looked like when we bought it.
No wonder it's taking us so long.
It's been 8 months and it's just us doing all of the work. So our new channel for homesteading is called the Double K Farm. Now the problem is if you know anything about YouTube is you have to have a Gmail, and whatever that Gmail is what the channel's address is. And so somebody actually had the Gmail for the Double K Farm.
Right.
But they don't have a YouTube channel for the Double K Farm, which is kind of weird. So we do have that website address, so we're going to be launching a website for it. So the link for the channel is down below, but it's instead of the Double K Farm, it's going to be just like 2 Crazy Ketos. It's youtube.com at the 2KK Farm.
Yeah.
But the channel is still called the Double K Farm. So we're going to ask you guys, please support us.
Yes.
We want to build the channel. And so the focus of the channel, just like Dr. Barry has the OB Farms channel, the focus of the channel is going to be a lot of things, like renovating our 1999 manufactured home, gutting it, running the farm, doing all the work here, talking about self-sustainability. We're going to do everything, solar, all of that kind of stuff on there. But please head over there. We would like to get the channel obviously monetized for ads. In order to do that, we need to get 1,000 subscribers on there. You have to have a certain amount of watch hours. So can everybody please do us a favor? Head on over to the channel. There's a link down below and subscribe to the channel. Once we get a bunch of the videos we have up, we're just going to do like 1 video a week on there. But we have a bunch that we're editing. Also, a bunch of questions that come up. Does that mean that you're abandoning this channel? No, this will always be our primary focus.
Oh, it looks like the link in the description is bad.
Okay, I'll have to fix it.
Thanks, Chris.
So this will always be our primary channel. Always.
Yes.
This will always be where we're going to be. The other ones are just kind of because we want to take some stuff off of here because YouTube doesn't like it. YouTube hates every time we talk about the farm on this channel. And that's why you will see we're not growing. We went from gaining 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers a month to 100 because YouTube has stopped recommending us.
Yeah.
Because they say you're not focusing on what you used to focus on.
Exactly.
And that's because life is in the way right now.
So do us a favor and recommend us, for YouTube right now. And we're going to do our best to separate all of the entangled.
Okay, next one is from Sarah. Sarah said...
Hey, Sarah. It's all Sarah's? Only comments from Sarah's this week.
There's been a lot... There's a lot I've been dealing with over the last few weeks, and this just hit the top of my aha meter. Sadly, I didn't turn to Jesus as I should have. I turned to my favorite thing. French fries. I'm proud to say I got right back on the wagon on Thursday. Stuff happened.
Yes, it does.
However, I've been evaluating and thinking 2 things and would love feedback. Number 1, I jumped into beef, butter, bacon, and egg too soon.
Okay.
I need to do the basics of keto first. I only did a week before starting triple B and E. I'm not getting enough protein, so I need to start tracking my macros. So what is your favorite macro tracker? Okay, couple things. Number 1, I would disagree. I think that, again, it really depends on your personality and where you're coming from.
Sure.
I think beef, butter, bacon, and egg is a great way. Let me turn off these notifications, even though I really appreciate Chris doing that. I think that beef, butter, bacon, egg is a great way to get started on keto, again, depending on your personality. Because one of the things about beef, butter, bacon, and egg is you're going to eat as much as you want. as many times a day as you want, so long as it's beef, butter, bacon, or eggs.
Right.
And one of the hardest things about starting a new eating lifestyle, especially if you're trying to lose weight, is
food's on your mind.
Oh, I can only eat this many calories. I can
Yeah.
only eat this. I can only eat that. So I think beef, butter, bacon, egg is a great way to get started. But some people have such a bad carb addiction, they can't do that. But here's the thing. What's the difference between starting on beef, butter, bacon, egg and starting keto the right way, which is not buying Quest cups and all of that stuff? Because that, I always tell people when you get started on keto, my recommendation when you first start on keto is this. Number one, for the first 2 to 4 weeks, you're just going to eliminate carbs. You're not going to count your protein. You're not going to count your fat. You're just going to eliminate your carbs. You're going to keep your total carbs under 20 to 30 total carbs. And you're not going to buy any keto like stuff that you would find in the store. Now, something like Keto Chow, I think can help people because it's a meal replacement, especially if you're on the go. But when I'm talking about keto stuff in the store, like keto chips, keto breads, keto candy, all of that stuff, because it's not going to be a good way for you to get started. And it's honestly just going to remind you of the things that you're not having from non-keto. So it's very similar to doing beef, butter, bacon because you're not counting anything. If you get started on keto and you're immediately going to the store and buying coconut clusters and everything else, you're not going to have the results you're looking for.
Exactly.
So I think that is good. Now, as far as protein, if you're focusing on meat, you should get enough protein. You want 80 to 100 grams minimum protein. But when you're asking what is the best macro tracker, it's Chronometer.
Yeah, I because it's evaluated. A lot of times things, people can just populate it with what I want to assign to each food. Like how much do I want to count like this particular brand of cottage cheese or this particular sour cream? And sometimes you're like, oh, well, I think there's nothing in it. You can actually put into something like MyFitnessPal 0 for like heavy whipping cream, no matter how many servings are in it.
Yeah. Next one is from Christy.
Hey, Christy, please pray for me. I'm started all over. I did strict keto for 6 months last year. I only lost like 11 pounds, but I felt great. And my A1C went way down. Then I fell off the wagon. Still sugar-free, but I ate all the potatoes I could stuff in my trap. Well, I just found out that my A1C is up higher than it ever has been at a whopping 12. I'm scared for my health, so I'm climbing back up on the horse. Pray it is as easy as it was last time. I've missed this community and you, Joe and Rachel. Well, thank you so much, Christy. We're so glad you're back. I will say, just in reading what you're saying is like, I'm still sugar free, but I went back and ate potatoes. We tend to compartmentalize things. We decide like, hey, potatoes is a side dish that kind of leans toward a vegetable, whereas a candy bar is sugar.
I gotta close the arm.
But our bodies don't make that distinction, unfortunately. So yeah, it is reasonable that even though you are not eating candy per se, but the sugar, the potatoes, the starch is actually causing a big problem. Let me see if I can go to the next one. It's Carrie P says, John Harvey Kellogg developed one of the first junk foods, sugar-coated grain cereals, Kellogg's Corn Flakes, in 1894. He claimed that this highly processed, pre-digested breakfast would improve digestion and decrease sexual desire. Today, the cereal aisle is one of the most profitable sections in grocery stores. In fact, like as somebody
You skipped this.
who has a family that's in like grocery stores, we talk a lot about like marketing and how much money goes particularly down that aisle to make sure that a certain box of cereal is not just in your eye line that you're pushing the shopping cart, but in the eye line of the child that would be riding in the shopping cart.
So this one was actually supposed to be a little bit later on, so we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
This was the focus for today. And so if you look at the thumbnail for today, it said, like, this is the worst thing you can eat. If you research John Harvey Kellogg, it is so much worse than just creating a highly processed cereal.
Right. Well, and the brothers really like lost relationship over it because I know that
He was crazy.
Well, he was the eldest brother did not want, they battled back and forth about even bringing it to the marketplace. because I forget what the other one's name was right off the top of my head, but the Kellogg brothers were in like a sanatorium, and that was just food that they were serving their patients. And one brother didn't really want to market it, but
Right.
the other one was like, we might as well, because this could be very profitable.
So here's the thing, and I guess it kind of is into the thing with the potatoes too, is it is all sugar, even when there's no sugar in it. I love potatoes, but so potatoes have why people will say, like, why should you not eat potatoes and starchy vegetables on keto? Because starch is sugar. It is actually the plant's way of surviving. It is a sugar, and potatoes many times can jack your sugar levels up faster and higher than even regular sugar, because it is just a stored sugar
with better PR.
And so then you've got like these cereals, and I remember growing up, my mother was like, we were not allowed to have Fruit Loops, Cocoa Puffs, all that. The only time we ever got that stuff is when we would go camping, and we were tent campers, and my mom would buy individual,
packs,
and then you fight over the corn pops and the other ones, and it was like Raisin Bran, ew. Rice Krispies with no sugar, ew. Right? Corn Flakes Special K. But that's my mom, the most sugar one we would ever get, and now you look at it like, how bad really was it, would be Raisin Bran. That was like the most fun cereal we would get, but usually it was Special K or Corn Flakes. And I remember thinking, like, as I got teenager and I became a little bit more inquisitive, and you would look at labels, and when I went off to college, and when you would flip them over, there were the same amount of calories in a package of Special K as there was in Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
Right? And so I would just, like, well, I might as well just eat the Fruit Loops. But all of those cereals literally become sugar as soon as you consume them. Even things like Special K and all of that stuff.
Well, again, I'm a big person of motivation behind a product. And the thought that you would try to make a food to reduce sexual prowess, like,
right.
I think it's kind of like gross. Like, why? You know what I mean? He really touted that he never consummated his marriage with his wife of like years and years. I think they were married like 40 years or more, and it was like, why is that the win? It was
about population control.
Yeah. So it's like, when I find out like that is your motivation, and really just the thought that like going to the bathroom a lot was like representative of better health, and you think like, that seems crazy, but then at the same time, we find that people onboarding to keto really do struggle a little bit with that thought,
we've been like brainwashed to think that you have to poop 20 times a day.
But it's very much, we didn't realize like how pervasive and how it kind of infiltrated a lot of thoughts in society, where it became like health was connected to how much you go to the bathroom.
Okay. So hopefully we're back, and I'll just come back and edit this out 35 minutes into the video. So we're going to try to move through these as quickly as can. It's a really bad storm right now. Okay, so I gotta find where we were. Okay, next one's from Zanetta.
Hey, Zanetta.
I am currently craving yogurt, and as much as I'd like to make my own yogurt, I no longer have an Instapot for now. But I was in a grocery store and I saw full-fat plain yogurt with live and active cultures, and I began to wonder if I couldn't strain that yogurt further to get the carbs even lower and make it acceptable. While it won't be as fatty and delicious as a 2KK Instapot recipe, I'm hoping I can to be able to make it to get me by in a pinch thoughts. So you might be able to drain off a little bit, but probably not much. What I would recommend is, if you're going to buy store-bought yogurt, okay, number one, only buy sugar-free, obviously. Don't buy yogurts that have a whole bunch of sugars and
fruit on the bottom,
all of that stuff. So plain. Number one, buy Greek yogurt. Or you can also buy, I can't think of it. Like, what's the one? The El Siggy.
Oh, you mean like Skier?
Yes, the Skier yogurt.
Yeah.
So those yogurts are going to tend to have a little bit less carbs. I think one of the best store-bought regular Greek yogurts is actually Fahe.
Yeah.
You also want to buy full-fat yogurt. Do not buy yogurt that's like low-fat, okay? Again, it's like milk. You shouldn't be drinking milk, but if you are going to drink milk, and I think about some of the things that affected my weight as a kid, we only drank powdered skim milk.
Mm-hmm.
The less fat, the more sugar. So just always look at it that way. Think about the milk spectrum, right? So you have skim milk, then you have 1%, and you have 2%, and then you have whole milk, then you have half and half, and then you have heavy cream, right? So look at the carb counts on them. So you go from a lot of carbs all the way, and sometimes you'll see the regular milks, they all say the same carbs, because that's a rounding thing. But as they take out the fat, the sugar count goes up because you have the same thickness, and so you have like a lot of the wheys and stuff like that in there. So even half and half is literally just half milk and half heavy cream.
Right.
My suggestion would be, if you want half and half, which is also a thinner consistency, water it down with milk, or rather water it down with water.
Yeah.
If you didn't want that, or just use something other than regular milk. So get heavy cream and then just kind of water it down. It's gonna have less carbs in it anyway, and then you don't have to worry about the extra sugars from the milk. But so get a Greek yogurt because it's going to have less whey. Don't have the regular ones. And I find that those two brands tend to have a little bit less carbs and are a lot better. And again, always get full fat yogurt. But I wouldn't worry about it. It's going to be a rounding thing. It still comes down to, there are some benefits to getting the live active cultures into your body for your gut biome. Next one is from Nanny.
Hey, Nanny K. My family members have had a history of heart, blood sugar, and cancer. Both mom and dad passed away too early. Father passed at 67, mother at 70. Both older brothers passed at 62, and my husband passed in 2019 at 61 and 425 pounds. He started low-carb ketovore, but unfortunately for him, it was too little, too late. I'm so sorry for your loss. I am currently 62, and although have had high blood pressure and autoimmune issues in the past, I am currently off all medications and in remission for autoimmune issues thanks to carnivore. I plan to continue to get healthier and live a quality life until God calls me home. I'm feeling great and will continue to preach the proper human diet, which can vary depending on the person and their health, as long as I am here. And I am really glad that you are here, Nanny K, and that you are showing that lifestyle changes really go above and beyond our genetics. A lot of times, people get worried about their family history, but as Dr. Berry has talked about a lot, so much of that comes down to having this same lifestyle as your family. Like, a lot of times we're eating the same food. We have the same quality of exercise. Like, if our parents were very sedentary, typically we are very sedentary. So when we change what we're eating from the rest of our family that maybe was eating not a proper human diet, and we change our lifestyle, we start exercising, we start participating in movement, then we will change the outcome of our health.
Yeah. Okay, so I saw a question here from Ruby. I didn't want to miss it, so I went back and found it. It said, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I have a quick question. Can someone give me the answer? I know all coffee do come with carbs, but wide crew is the worst. I don't know what you mean by wide crew. Maybe you're meaning cold brew, because if you're like me and you're dictating, and dictating is horrible a lot of times. Cold brew will have more carbs. Here's the thing. Don't worry about the carbs in coffee.
That's not what caused the problem.
There are carbs in coffee. A cup of coffee has about a carb, a little bit less than a carb in an 8-ounce cup of coffee. Unless you're Rachel, that I'm about to get hit for digging on
Shots fired.
And you're drinking 2 pots a day, I would not worry about it. If you're like, I'm trying to keep my total carbs under 20, so that means that I can't have that second cup of coffee because that's going to put me to 22, do not worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't worry about carbs in eggs either.
The stress.
Don't worry about carbs in liver.
The stress over being perfect will cause more problems than the coffee itself.
I promise you that, again, unless you're drinking 2 pots of coffee a day, and which could be 20 or more carbs.
Sure.
And then you're also eating a whole bunch of other carby things, that is not going to affect you.
Yeah.
Now, if you are kind of playing with a little bit of what I call keto fire, and you're eating a lot of keto packaged products, and you're doing a lot of like the fibers that they say that you can deduct, like soluble corn fiber, and you're putting yourself at 20 or 30 total carbs there, and then you're also drinking 20 to 30 carbs a day in coffee, then you may have an issue.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm going to tell you, you don't cut out the coffee, you cut out the other crap.
Right.
You know? And so there's just certain carbs that, unless there's something specific going on, I promise you, if you eat, there's basically 1 carb in an egg. If you eat 50 eggs a day, I promise you, you're still going to be in ketosis.
Right.
You are, okay?
The benefits
if you eat 50
outweigh
eggs
the carbs
and then
there.
eat half a pound of liver, I don't know why you would want to do that,
Maybe
but
you like liver.
there is about 4 carbs in a serving of liver, but the health benefits of eating liver far outweigh those 4 carbs.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But yes, technically cold brew will have almost double the carbs of a regular cup of coffee. Next one is from Rita.
Hey, Rita.
So in the few weeks since my doctor appointment, I've lost 10 pounds.
Way to go.
Now, this is based on the scale at the gym, but not official, but it still makes me feel good.
It should.
I haven't been perfect, but I'm trying hard to make wise choices and get to the gym as often as I can. Small changes make big improvements.
You are so stinking right. It's funny. So we recently had like dirt put down on our like driveway because we had so many potholes and it was just a really terrible thing. And so we got basically a good like foundation put down along our driveway. And so of course, because chicken poop, I spend a lot of time like cleaning things off and making sure like our walkways and everything are, you know, nice and tidy. And so we do have like there's a drip that comes from the RV, like, you know, just the drip of the air conditioning system and that sort of thing. And I had to put a little bowl underneath
the power of water, because
that little drip creates like a big hole. Now in that situation, you can see like a one little drip consistently is creating a big problem. But in this case, it can be a big problem for your carb addiction. It could be a big problem for the disease that you're facing. It could be a big problem for the inflammation. That little drip of consistency and you making good choices is boop, 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 drip, drip, drip. You don't think that it's making a huge difference, but buddy, it is making a huge difference and it is causing a breakthrough to happen. And when it comes to our health, that's a positive thing that it does.
Next one we have is from Mel.
Hey, Mel.
Some people just need 1 cup of coffee to start their day.
It's just one.
I, of course, thought of Rachel.
She gets me so good. That even looks like my color of coffee. Like, it's funny, when we were on a cruise recently, a waiter was bringing me a cup of coffee and said, you know, you take heavy cream in it. And I said, yes. And so when he goes to hand it to me, he goes, is this the right color? And I thought, yes, you are so right. That it's not even the case of like, you know, like what does the splash of cream look like? It's all about the color. Like I can tell by looking at a cup of coffee coming if it is light enough for me or dark enough for me.
I'm jonesing to get back on a cruise. We haven't been on a cruise since January.
Well, thankfully,
it's only 2 months, but I feel
we're getting to go to Alaska.
We're
baby.
going on the low carb cruise. So excited about that. We also have a cool announcement coming up. I think next week.
Yeah.
About something else going on. But yeah, we'll be on the low carb cruise in June. Just got our plane tickets finally. I was trying to use our Delta points, and I completely screwed up because I was like 5,000 points short. And so I'm like, oh, well, because our primary credit card is a card that gives us Delta points. So I'm like, I'll just do it at the end of this month. And then the cost of the ticket went up by like 45,000 points per, and I'm like, now I don't have enough. And fortunately it came back down, because then I'm like, well, I guess woe's us. Like, I guess we're going to have to fly in coach, because again, the only way I can afford to fly anything other than coach is use up our points, but that is a long flight. It's almost 7 hours. So we're super excited that we were able to manipulate things. I just don't know how we're going to get to the airport, because we are flying out of Orlando, but then back into Tampa.
We might go with Chris and Megan Miller, because we found out
we're on the same flight going out.
Because I was teasing her once I found out that we were on the same flight. I texted Megan and said, I have requested that they put me directly behind your seat so I can kick it all the way to Seattle.
Well, we're actually sitting behind them, because I know what seat they're sitting in. We're behind them. But so the cool thing is that, like, yeah, we had to fly out of one and back into the other, because I did not want to wait for the flight that came back from Seattle into Orlando left at midnight.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that.
Thank you, Debbie, so much for upgrading your membership to a 2KK supporter. Thank you.
Next one is from Tanya.
Hey, Tanya.
Wondering if Joe will get the new Ninja Flex Flame Grill. No, I won't, but I will say this. I saw now Ninja, I would love to be sponsored by you.
We would
because
love
I
that.
really do like your products, Ninja.
We so do.
We own several Ninja products.
We've bought a lot of Ninja.
I would love to be sponsored by Ninja. But until then, I do have a brand new grill. I got the Gorilla Grills Primate, it's a grill and a griddle. It's not a smoker. I bought it for the griddle, but I do like the fact that you can have it as a regular barbecue, which I don't own a regular barbecue. I just own smokers. So I do like that, and you can also have it as a grill and a griddle at the same time. But I did look at the new Primate, at the new next Flex Flame, and that thing is cool. And I would say, if you only have room for one appliance, that is the one.
Is it an all-in-one?
So I would get the highest level up one. It's going to cost you like an extra $300.
Okay.
But it literally is like a barbecue, a smoker, a griddle.
Does it do your laundry?
I think it's got an air fryer built in. It's like literally it could run on propane. It can smoke with wood chips. Like, it literally does it all. But it is a bit expensive. But it's an outdoor grill. It's not like a household appliance.
Okay.
But I think it's like starts at like $1,000 up to like $1,300 depending on what model. But I would get the model that has everything in it with the convection and everything. So I do think it is a good product. But speaking of Ninja, and we actually talk about this in a vlog.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people asking, what are your thoughts on the new Ninja Swirl? So I bought one with my own money. It's going back.
It's going back.
Not only is it going back, it's going back unopened. So we bought it thinking we'll make some videos. We love our Ninja Creamy.
We love our Ninja Creamy.
I love soft serve ice cream. Soft serve was always my deal. I always loved soft serve ice cream. Now I want to make ice cream.
Right.
We started learning how to use it, and the cleanup so if you just used it as a creamy,
good,
no problem. It's just like the other ones. But when you want to do the swirl, my thing is that you still have to pre-freeze your thing. Like, I was hoping you could take your keto chow, dump it in there, and it's going to be like a compressor and make it
Cold
swirl.
it up.
No. So what you have to do with it is you have to make a creamy, pre-freeze it, run it through the creamy, and then take that container and stick it in the swirl thing, and then it gives you swirl ice cream.
It's a cleanup issue for me.
So it's a double-step process, and now it takes you twice as long to get your swirl.
Which I'm already waiting, like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet?
The machine is louder than the Ninja Creamy.
How is that even possible?
And then cleanup of it is a nightmare.
No.
So factor all that into, with that, it's $170 more than the Ninja Creamy.
So now we're back to a Ninja Creamy, and we're happy and thankful for it.
I'm going to tell you it is not worth it. Do not buy it. I'm going to tell you, if you see it go to half price on Sam's Club, I wouldn't buy it.
Because you still have to clean up
And
after
again,
it.
I'm basing this off of just reading the instructions and watching a couple of videos from ninjas, like how to use it. I don't think it's worth it, especially on a ketogenic diet.
And we are somebody that freaking loves our creamy and did not shut up about it for ever, right? Because we love it so much. But this just seems like too much work for me.
Yeah.
And now
the fact that you have to
no.
it'd be one thing if you can take it and immediately it creamed it into the swirl.
That's what I thought it would do.
But that's what I thought too. But where you have to literally run it through the whole cycle of the creamy and then take that container out, move it over, put it on another piece that's attached to it, and then run it through the swirl. So it needs to, you need to be able to literally go from your hard thing directly in a swirl. I guess Ninja's not going to sponsor me now.
I think that it's not happening.
I think I just shot that one in the foot. Next one's from Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
I tried pasture-raised eggs for the first time in my life. Nellie's brand found at Kroger. They are delicious, and they are only pasture-raised eggs I've seen that don't say chickens are fed a vegetarian diet.
I like it.
And they're $6 for a dozen. Only 50 cents more a dozen than the cheapest eggs available at Walmart. Win. I can't wait to get hungry.
How cute is that? Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, that was something that we really noticed that, and you have to thank a farmer, right? It's so awesome that what we would call the expensive eggs, the pasture raised eggs, even when price fluctuates in the other eggs, like cage free and the regular and all that kind of stuff, you don't see the change in so much in pasture raised eggs. They still stay the same. In our neighborhood, you can still get pasture raised eggs $4, $5, $6 a dozen from local people. So just because there is an egg shortage or there is a fluctuation in price in the other eggs because of supply and demand, I can say, and I'm thankful for it, you're not seeing oh, well, then the good eggs go to $12 or $15.
So the egg shortage is on standard eggs, not pasture raised, even in the grocery stores. The reason that you can't find the regular one, and when I'm talking about when it comes to prices, you don't see the price affecting the pasture-raised one unless you have a store that's just deciding, a little local store
on their
trying
own
to jack up the price. But you're not seeing the price of Vital Farms and stuff skyrocket as much, or Nellie's, because the bird food doesn't affect them as much as the commercial eggs that used to be 79 cents a dozen. Somebody actually asked, have we noticed a difference in the taste of the eggs on our farm? Since moving, yes, I have noticed a huge difference between raising chickens in our backyard in Fort Lauderdale and then having them here, where they were both pasture raised, but here they have more opportunity to get bugs and grass. They had no grass over there, whereas here they do. The one thing I was going to say to this is the vegetarian fed that you see on, some of it is marketing.
Right.
Some of it isn't, but some of it is. So if it is a standard egg, just commercial egg, not pasture raised, and it says vegetarian fed, that is true. Because pretty much all chicken feed is vegetarian.
Yeah.
Okay? But that means, so their marketing to you is vegetarian fed, but all commercial chicken eggs that are raised in a factory farming situation are vegetarian fed, because that's what the feeds are. I have researched how to make my own chicken feed, and it's too much work for me. But it's all oreganos and grains and corns and things like that. So our chickens are fed a vegetarian diet. But that does not mean that they are a vegetarian chicken, because they are pasture raised. They are foraging for worms and bugs and mice and anything else they can find.
Anything that can't outrun them.
And then in addition, they are supplemented with a non-GMO organic chicken feed, which is vegetarian, because all chicken feeds is vegetarian. There's no animal products in those chicken feeds.
It's not like chicken beef jerky.
Yeah. So it's so, Cheryl, if you go to the store and you can't find in Nellie's, and you see another brand of pasture-raised eggs, not free-range, pasture-raised eggs, and it says vegetarian fed, you're fine.
Yeah.
Because if they're pasture-raised, they're still eating worms and bugs. It's just that's a marketing thing. They're being supplemented with chicken feed, and the chicken feed is actually going to be pasture raised.
Sometimes
it's going to be vegetarian.
Sometimes it's a marketing thing because there are some vegetarians that will eat eggs. They're like putting it in a different distinction. And for people that would eat eggs, they want to feel like there's more connection to the vegetarianism of it.
Right. Chris said it's kind of crazy that you're feeding chickens ground up vegetarians.
Right.
And of course, Chris, because he's a dork.
Yes.
Which is why we love him.
I love Chris.
Right. Happy Mario Day.
Mario Day.
It's March 10th. MAR10.
Oh, I love that. Dun, 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 dun. Now we have to go play Mario Kart.
Next one's from Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
The only issue I have with Salty is the subscription has to be every month. They should offer other options to go longer between orders.
Oh.
Yes, I can go into the account and cancel for that month, but I shouldn't need to bother when I already know I'm only going to order every other month or longer.
Oh.
So here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not a fan of subscriptions. And listen, we are affiliates. We're brand ambassadors for Salty and Keto Chow. But I'm also about saving people money. And that's why we have an affiliate discount for Salty through Salty. And we never tell you guys about it because you save more money
going through
using
Keto
our
Chow.
Keto Chow link. Just being honest. And I know Chris is in here. I'll probably get yelled at later.
Yell at him, Chris.
But I am always about saving people money. I hate subscriptions. Not just like as an affiliate or anything like that. I hate subscriptions personally. Like I bought Rachel the blue raspberry Celsius. She loves that one.
Because it's not great.
And they had a deal on Amazon. If you did the subscription, they took 30% off of it.
That's a lot of money off.
That's a lot of money. 30% of a $20 box of Celsius.
Did you subscribe?
Yeah. And then literally this day the order shipped, canceled the subscription.
It was funny you say that because I was watching Peyton over the weekend and she is potty training, which is so exciting, and she's doing so great with it. I'm just so proud of her. And she'll after she goes, she's looking at you like, good job. And I'm like, yes, good job. So awesome. But Michelle was saying that even like during the time she was buying diapers, of course, she found a good resource for diapers that were really, like inexpensive if you do it like a subscribe thing. And she goes, even though I know, obviously I'm going to need diapers, the thought of, well, is she going to go into size 3 or size 4 before I get my, subscription or whatever? So she's like, I never pulled the plug on a subscription for diapers. So that's kind of like, that leads my subscription issue with other things.
So my point was this. If you use our link for Salty down below, you're going to get 10% off. I think a subscription saves you 15%. Is it really worth the extra 5% to hassle for a subscription?
Well, for some people, yes.
But it's like going 3 blocks out of your way because that gas station is 3 cents a gallon cheaper than the one that you're right in front of, right? 3 cents times 10 gallons. Like, is it really making that big of a deal? So if you don't like subscriptions, or if you're afraid you're going to get it too often, which is one of the reasons I forget to cancel subscriptions and everything else, you're better off just don't get the subscription and just use our link down below
when you think you're running low,
and then just order it, because you're only saving maybe $1 anyway, but that you're saving $1 at the risk of getting more than you need and not changing flavors and everything else.
What I do know is Keto Chow,
and this is not just Salty, this is every company.
Keto Chow, their delivery, their customer service is like excellent. So even when I notice like, oh, I need to make an order, it's the same with Keto Brains, and I'm like, oh, I'm running low. I place the order and it's pretty fast.
I think if it's something like, like even Keto Brains, we don't really do the subscription. You're just going to get it so quickly, because then you'll have a time where I'm not going to use it, or I'm traveling and then you have too much. And, we would get we had a subscription for a while for carnivore bars. And then it's like, now there's like 20 boxes because I didn't eat them for a month.
Yeah. We're running low now, though, speaking of it.
Next one is from Trish.
Hey, Trish.
I'm learning more about chickens than I ever thought. But I still don't know quite how they work. I've got questions, chicken and rooster and egg questions.
Oh,
I don't know what her questions are, but I'm going to guess. I just thought it would be fun to put this in here. I'm going to
Okay.
guess her question. Yes, hens will always lay eggs even if you don't have a rooster. You don't need a rooster. A lot of people think you have to have a rooster to have eggs. You don't need a rooster. Your hens, it's not to get TMI, but think about a woman's ovulation cycle.
Okay.
You always put out eggs,
Moving
whether
on.
you have a man or not, right?
Right.
Same thing with that's so when a chicken is born, they actually have every egg they're ever going to lay is already in there. So it's kind of cool.
That is cool.
And if you go dissect a hen, you can actually see
stages of an egg.
all the stages of the eggs.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool thing. So, but this is the biggest question a lot of people have. No, you do not have to have a rooster. If you do have a rooster, the rooster will fertilize the chicken. If you saw a recent thing, it is a lot more violent than watching our turkeys do it.
Yeah.
Also much quicker.
Quick and dirty.
I mean, he grabs her by the head, holds her down, bites her neck. I mean, none of our chickens now have feathers on their head.
I know.
So if you have that, they can do it one time and she's fertilized for like 3 to 4 weeks. Those eggs are still edible.
Yeah, they don't taste different.
No, they will not
Just 'cause
become a
they're
chicken
fertilized?
until they're put into the perfect environment, which is 99 degrees with 50% humidity. And then they'll begin to develop and they have to be there for 21 days. So you can eat fertilized eggs. And we were recently at an auction and they were auctioning off fertilized eggs and nobody was bidding on it. And then all of a sudden he goes,
You can
hey,
eat them.
you can eat these. And then everybody bid on them.
Right. That was funny. It was like, yeah, they don't change. Now, I do think that we finally have answered the question of what came first, the chicken or the egg. With the egg shortage, now we are learning it's the chicken that comes first. You have to have a chicken, and the chicken has to grow to maturity and be able to lay an egg for you to get an egg. So I feel like the case has been made, first the chicken, then the egg.
Yeah. Excuse me.
It's the sneeze show.
Next one is from Kimberly.
Hey, Kimberly.
Are there any solo prices for your birthday cruise? I want to go because my birthday's in December as well.
Yay.
I've been doing ketovore for a little over a year and I'm down over 100 pounds.
Kimberly.
Pretty much my goal weight, and quit smoking in January of last year. So I'd like to reward myself. If you know anything about solo travel prices for either of those cruises, please let me know. So there is, but there isn't. Here's the thing with some cruise lines, or pretty much all of them, they have a couple of what they call solo cabins. They usually sell out like almost the day
They come out.
that cruise gets announced. So for example, you can right now book into late 2026, even 2027. So let's say there is a cruise in 2027 and it has 5 solo cabins. The day that cruise fare gets announced, the day that they open it up to book on that, they're gone.
Even though it's 2 years away.
They're gone because there's only a couple of cabins on every ship. I think Virgin is the one that has the most at like 10 or 12. But most ships only have a couple of solo cabins. And so all cruise lines are double occupancy. With that being said, if you choose, we have a couple of people that are going on the birthday cruise solo. And if you're looking for a roommate, there's a couple people who are actually looking for roommates. Go to our Mighty Networks group and post it. Go join in the cruise
There's
group.
a cruise group.
But if you choose to go solo, the price comes down a little bit. You have to pay the fare for 2 people, but you don't pay the port fees and taxes for 2 people. So on average, the port fees and taxes are about $120 per person. Depends on the cruise or so. So if the cruise is, say, $900 for 2 people, your fare would be like $780, $800. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to me. Use the link down below. Email me at 2kktravel@gmail.com and I can let you know. But we do have some people that are solo cruising, and so that's what you save. The savings is you don't pay port fees and taxes on the second person.
It is crazy that we were getting pummeled by rain this entire time, and now it's like nothing, sunshine. Oh, what do you mean? It didn't even rain today. No, nothing's happening.
Last one.
Chris Bear.
Seriously, how many chicken coops does Joe need?
That's a great question.
It's more of, Chris, seriously, how many
Chickens does Rachel need?
chicken coops does Rachel need? And we need a lot. We actually need to build 3 more. because we have various stages of chickens.
And chickens will get aggressive if they don't perceive that you are in their stage. So when you try to introduce a new chicken to a coop, first of all, I recommend you doing it at night because everybody is just like chillaxed after the sun goes down and they're more accepting of newcomers. So you just introduce them like right at bedtime. But they need to be about the same size as one another.
Or they'll beat each other up.
Or they will beat each other
For
up.
example, so we have 19 layers and 21 in our new coop, which is 10 feet by 12 feet.
Okay.
And then right next to that, just only a wall dividing them, is our turkey coop. And then right next to that is a brooding room. So we have them in there. And then we moved our teenagers into, they're still in a little tiny area, but we only have 5 teenagers left. Some of them are going to move over, but because we want to take the Indian Giants and separate them and hopefully breed them to sell them, because those are the chickens that sell for like over $100. Then we have our babies that moved into the old coop that everybody else was in. So those babies who are like 2 months old, we have 2 duckles. They're only about this big. They're kind of worthless chickens, honestly.
They're cute.
They're cute. That's about what they do. But their eggs are like that big.
They're like me.
Those bantams are full grown, but they are the same size as our 2-month-old babies.
So it works.
So we took the bantams and we put them in with the babies, and nobody's beating each other up because they're all the same size.
Right.
Now, if they grow up together from when you first get them, even if one is bigger than the other, they'll get along because they kind of know each other. But if you were to take those bantams and go put them in with our other 21, they'll beat the crap out of them.
They will probably kill them.
You know, so we have different coops because we have different sizes and stages. Eventually, you integrate them all. But then we also have 15 turkeys here. You know, we have meat chickens, so everybody's got to have their own space. You know, it's kind of scary how many chickens we have, but we are selling eggs and pasture-raised poultry and everything else. Let's jump into some comments. I did see from John, how can you tell the difference between fertilized and non-fertilized eggs? I heard Joe mention it when cooking eggs in a video. I actually have it in the vlog coming up. The only way to know if an egg is fertilized is to open it.
Yeah.
So you'll see it in the video, but when you crack open an egg, if you go take your eggs out of the store and you crack it open and you look at the yolk, there's a little tiny white dot.
It's like a white dot.
There's a white dot on there.
Yeah.
If that white dot looks like a bullseye, so a little white dot and then a big circle around the outside of it, and meaning when I say big, just like maybe 1 millimeter, so there's a circle and then another little dot inside of the circle, that's a fertilized egg. If there is no circle around it, it's not fertilized. So the only way to know
you're looking for a bullseye
is if it's fertilized is to open it up, which kind of stinks because if you have 100 eggs and you want to put them in an incubator, you don't know if every chicken has been fertilized. Now, with our 2 roosters, I know everybody's been fertilized, but not the case with our turkeys.
No.
I've never seen the black Spanish turkey have sex with the tom.
No, and we did open up one of her eggs and it was not fertilized.
Yeah. So you just don't ever know. Okay, let's see. Debbie said, my husband's not keto, but I'd like to go on a cruise. Is there anyone that would like to share a room? I can't get on the Mighty Network because my internet is too slow. Debbie, can you post it in our Facebook group?
Yeah, the 2 Crazy Ketos family group.
And what I'll do is Rachel will go into our cruise group and I'll have to look up and see who's still solo, but can you just post for Debbie?
And I just want to let you know that if you do want to travel with your husband, there is no pressure for him to eat keto. We have a lot of people that come and they bring a spouse, they bring a child with them that is not keto at all, and they will find that they're more than welcome, that there's no pressure. It's not like we're trying to like eat in step with one another.
Yeah, a lot of people come that are where their husband's not keto.
They're not keto. So if you'd like to enjoy your husband's company.
Adrian will come and her husband is not keto. And she was eating keto carnivore and
he was fine.
And he's like, I'm never missing a 2KK cruise.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Liz, we're talking about chickens again.
Hey Liz.
Liz said, so can one rooster inseminate, fertilize the next couple weeks of eggs laid? So yeah, so the rooster has sex with the hen, and then that sperm gets stored in the hen for about 3 weeks.
So
So every egg she lays for the next 3 weeks is fertilized.
Yeah, but when you are trying to get that's where the rooster thing can be a problem. Like both of our roosters are the same breed, and so you're going to have kind of the same outcome. Now, we're not too particular on getting like a purebred Plymouth Rock rooster, obviously, because we have hens that are not Plymouth Rock that are
But
with
I
this
will
rooster.
say that Barred Rock's got some strong genes because half of our chickens come out looking like them. More than half.
More than half. But I'm just saying that, like, if you're trying to, have like a certain breed standard, if a rooster that is not the breed that you want gets a hold of one of your ladies, chances are they're gonna spoil that like hatching day for you, because you're gonna be like, oh man, clearly, like, that's definitely what happened when we got fertilized silky eggs. So we got some fertilized silky eggs, and we got 6 of them, and they all hatched out. 5 of them are perfect silkies, and then 1 of them is clearly a frizzle. And like,
which is
looks,
a type of a silky,
but
but
so
it's the only
cute.
one that I want to keep.
But absolutely looks completely different, where you're like, uh-oh, somebody
somewhere in the line
got in trouble.
Pat, I've been listening
Pat.
to some Gary Brecka. He talks a lot about methylated vitamins. Props to Keto Chow for using the best.
Yes,
That's
he does.
honestly what sold me on Keto Chow years ago. So if you're new to keto and you don't know what Keto Chow is, Keto Chow is a meal replacement drink. But it's not like buying Slim Fast, because every shake is 1/3 of all the vitamins, electrolytes, and nutrients you need. Now, Chris will tell you he started Keto Chow he was basically making it for himself. And I think he's out of here, so I can say this. Chris is the biggest dork nerd that you will ever meet. He's
the
awesome.
Best
engineer. He is brilliant.
Brilliant.
Okay, so he was an engineer.
Probably the smartest man I've ever met.
And he says, I'm super lazy, which anybody who's ever met Chris Bear will tell you he's the least lazy person I've ever met.
He's the most efficient person.
He wants to be efficient. He's like me in that aspect. And so he was like, I don't have time during the week to spend 19 hours smoking a brisket. So how can I get all of my nutrition? So he researched every vitamin and nutrient that you should be getting on a daily basis, and he put them all together and mixed them with a protein powder to create Keto Chow. He created it for himself, and then he kind of documented his procedure on Reddit, and then people were like, I want some of that.
Yeah.
And so he started... First, he put the recipe out there. Well, here's how you make it. And that recipe, by the way, is still out there.
Because that's Chris Bear.
Okay, and then he started selling it. Kind of like Keto Brick. Robert made Keto Brick for himself for his competition, and then he put out there, I'm eating this, and everyone's like, I want that too. And so he started producing it for people. So Chris, because his whole thing was, and this is why you can trust Keto Chow, and this is why you can trust Keto Brick, his whole thing was, if this is going in my body, it has to be the best. It has to be vitamins that my body can use. So he began using things like methylated vitamins. And so that is the thing that really sold me on Keto Chow, was you're not just getting vitamins and nutrients, you're getting the right ones that is bioavailable to your body. Unlike going to the store and buying 1-a-day multivitamins.
And you're not sure, like, is this actually bioavailable vitamins? Or is this vitamins that I really can't utilize? And that's the other reason why, they're going to say, don't try to just mix Keto Chow and water, because you're trying to keep the,
your body won't be able to use the vitamins.
You won't, because you've got fat soluble vitamins. It requires fat in order for you to unlock them.
Okay. Trish.
Hey, Trish.
If there is a rooster around, how is it you don't have baby chicks in those eggs? Because the egg doesn't become a baby until it's put in optimal conditions, which is 99.3 degrees, I think, at 50% humidity, constant. Oh, and then they have to turn. So, like, we have 2 incubators. So you put it in an incubator. It maintains that temperature with a fan. We actually just had to throw 50 out. I felt so bad.
She didn't put the fan on.
Because I cleaned it and didn't connect the fan. So you had the temperature and the humidity, but it wasn't circulating the air. And so they never turned into babies, even after 12 days. So what happens is the eggs the mom would turn the eggs and sitting underneath her, and then she knows to instinctively get up if it gets too hot. It's kind of a cool thing, but without all of that, they just never turn into babies.
It is a miracle that we ever have baby chicks, because yes, she has to keep the temperature just right. She has to be rotating them. You have to have a certain amount of humidity getting in. Like, this is a lot for an animal to be willing to do, and I think it is amazing. So when a turkey even like lays a clutch of eggs, you know, it's not all at once. It's one day, then the next day, then the next day. And then when she's done laying that last egg, that's when she will sit down and she will begin that process. And the egg she laid first days ago will hatch out at the same time with the last egg that she laid. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, John said Joe had mostly fertilized eggs in the ones he was cooking in video. Any egg on our farm is fertilized. Except for if they're coming from a brand new baby. Like, you know, someone who just started laying. But all of our girls are fertilized. Patty said, once you open the egg and see if it's fertilized, it's still edible, or can you only eat? No, you can eat all eggs, fertilized or not. Because again, they don't become a chicken until, you know, the optimal thing. So even there, like that, if an egg is fertilized, it's still good for about 60 days unless you put it in those optimal circumstances.
I've seen even people get pasture raised eggs and then like try to, you know, put them in an incubator and have some success with it.
Trish said dork nerds are the new sexy.
It is sexy. Yes.
I consider myself a dork nerd.
Is it because you want to be sexy?
I hope.
Okay.
But no, but I mean,
Working for me.
I like, listen, I love dorky, nerdy things.
Clearly.
I think it should be a badge of honor, you know, but, and you know,
I think
some of the smartest people in the world are dork nerds.
I think that dorky and nerd and all that kind of stuff, like, I think it is somebody that comes across as different, and maybe like I definitely was not celebrated in like my school times because of my nerdiness. But I find that people who are nerds like me.
I want to watch Revenge of the Nerds now.
I know, I love it.
Can we take out the sex parts?
I think it is cool that we sometimes specialize in something. I think that I've always, like, you know, obviously I grew up in a comic book atmosphere with my parents, you know, having, you know, a comic book store. And I always felt like nerds are down to earth.
You take it to another whole level.
They share, like, you know, what is, you know, important to them. I always find them friendly.
Chris put up the link for the actual recipe to how to make your own keto chow. But he did say there's a lot of improvements that aren't possible with the mixtures of ingredients. So yeah, because he was literally buying capsules of vitamins and cracking them open.
That's amazing. I mean, that's diligence.
Chris said, badgers, we don't need any badgers.
How do badgers taste, though? Dustin says.
Yeah, a lot of people saying they're married to dork nerds.
I love it, right? It's interesting. Like, somebody that would, like, the cool kid, like, I don't know if I could be married to somebody who wasn't nerdy. Like, how, like, is that really, I don't know how fun and interesting that would be as a marriage if it wasn't two nerds getting married.
Donna Joe, what does a little dark red spot mean? It's just part of the process. A lot of times they ate some extra protein. Sometimes you can get little white dots, white flecks in their yolks and stuff. It's just they were given a lot of protein. Like our chickens will, because we pasture raise everybody, and the coop doors are always open. They will go in and eat the turkey feed. The turkey feed is
higher in protein.
Like I'm feeding those girls. I feed all of our chickens. This is all stuff that should be on the homesteading channel.
Sorry,
this is why YouTube doesn't like us anymore. But we feed all of our chickens a combination feed. So they get 1 scoop of scratch, 1 scoop of like a 22% protein, which is what you would give babies. That helps them lay more eggs. And then get 1 scoop of 17% layer pellets. And then we mix it 1 to 1 to 1 and put it out there. The turkeys get the same thing, but their protein level is 36%. Well, the hens will go eat the turkey food, and so sometimes they'll get the little protein spots. It's not hurting your egg at all. It just means they got a bunch of excess protein. They eat a bunch of mealworms.
Another fun fact, in case you're interested, like because turkeys naturally, obviously, need higher protein, that is why turkeys don't start laying until later. They don't want to lay like in the winter. They wait until it is springtime, and that like the mother turkey is believing that like there's going to be worms available. There's going to be bugs available because her like why lay this egg if there's not going to be protein available when the baby hatches out? So I think that's kind of a cool fun fact too.
Yep. So let's see. Oh, craft crazy. Yeah, we actually put that in here. Is there anything else? I don't see anything else.
Just checking to see if there's any other questions.
Nope. Okay. Well, I'm glad the rain stopped. We have so much to do today. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Again, just a little reminder. Please do ever go over and help us build up our homesteading channel. Then we can stop talking about all this stuff over here. But go help us. So go help build up our channel. If you're on YouTube, it's just our handle is at the 2KK Farm. Please go subscribe over there. We will be back live here on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Got a vlog coming out this week. Got another product review coming out this week. Trying to get more into the groove as, you know, again, we have a lot to do here, but we have a functioning kitchen. That's the most important part, right? And so, you know, trying to get in more groove, getting more videos uploaded, and we've kind of just decided that getting our videos done is more important. We can survive in our RV. We've done it for the last 8 months, so we don't want to let you guys down. And so we've just decided we'll just keep doing this, and we'll do the house a little bit slower if we have to, because your health is more important than for us.
Than our comfort.
Than our comfort of not living in an RV.
That's right.
Yep. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We will see everybody on Thursday at 8:30. Oh, don't forget, Rachel, if you are a member of our paid Mighty Networks group, 10 a.m. on Wednesday.